Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and this video is going to be several things. It's going to be a reading vlog, it's going to be a mid-month wrap-up for November, and then an end-of-the-month wrap-up for November. That is because I have filmed segments of this video going back to November the 7th. I filmed some reading vlog footage for about 10 days, and then I filmed a mid-month wrap-up at about the middle of the month, and was all set to upload that, and it would not save. I could not get it to go to YouTube through the video shop that I usually use on my phone. So it's taken me a couple more weeks to get something else downloaded on the computer, learn how to upload from my phone to the computer, and edit it. So if you saw my December TBR yesterday, you may have noticed that for the first time ever, I actually had some pictures of book covers in my video. I even said in the video I wasn't going to do it. But then as I was using this, the program, I saw how to do it and I did it. And I'm so proud of myself because even though it's taken me a long time to get that done, I'm excited that I finally was propelled into making myself learn how to do it, simply because of technical difficulties in one direction forced me to learn another way. And my video yesterday was better for it. So I don't know how much editing I will get done with this video, but I am going to at least string the clips together, including my mid-month wrap-up, where at that point I had finished 7 books. And then I'm going to come back and film the rest of the month, and I'll tell you about the rest of the books that I finished in the month of November, and then I'll do a summary, my stats and everything at the very end. So I'll put some timestamps in the description if you don't want to mess with all the footage. I will tell you that there is some footage of our property in another county where I went and took some things out for a community yard sale. You won't get to really see any of the yard sale. I filmed it after I was already packing up. But I did film like in the car on the way there and all of that. So if you're interested, you can, scroll through that if you want. Otherwise, just skip on over to the wrap up and I will see you back here at the end. Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and I thought I would film a quick video right now while I'm still in my church clothes. I am about to go to the grocery store because I usually go on Thursday or Friday, and I didn't even go Saturday. So I've got to get that done and get a few groceries, and then I'm going to come home, put on some comfy clothes, and get busy reading. I did do some reading this morning, and that's really what I want to talk to you about. I'm starting a new reading vlog. I don't know how long it's going to go. Definitely this little project that I'm on is some concentrated reading that I am doing over the next couple of weeks, and I may or may not film all of it, up to the end. I don't know. But I just last night uploaded my November TBR. It's already the 7th of November today, and I have a lot of things that I want to read, need to read for various projects and everything, but I was just getting it all muddled in my head, like where to start, what to do. And so I thought, okay, I need to prioritize here. I need to finish certain books that need to be read by a certain date. So that's where I have started. And I have 4 books that I am focusing on right now that I'm reading in print. I may also in this vlog mention some audiobooks, but I have 4 books. 3 of them, well, one of them it doesn't have a specific date. It's just as soon as possible because it is a book that I am copy editing. So that's my highest priority. And then I have a couple of book club books. And then I have a book that I have had on my currently reading list since January. And I have not read any of it since January, except maybe a page. So I started, I picked it back up this month, and it's pretty thick. So in order to finish it by the end of the month, I need to read 20 pages, 18 pages, 17 or 18 pages per day to finish it by the end of the month. So it's not like I have to read it by any certain date, but in order to stay on track with it, I needed to go ahead and set a goal of a page count per day. So I need to get these book clubs books done, and I need to get this book copy edited. So I just thought I would start with these 4 books, and then I would make a chart and basically just check off my daily goals for each day. I have it here going through the 19th. This is a little bit different than the type of chart I did in August, but I think this is going to work for what I need to do. And I'm going to allot this whole page, because if I want to continue this, and as I finish books, then I will add more to it, and I can start new rows down here to take me on through the month, and maybe even through to the end of the year for some of these books. So the first book is the one that I'm copy editing. It is the highest priority, but it's not necessarily the first thing I pick up in the day, because I don't have a specific page goal. I just need to get as much read as I can. I thought on most days I'll go ahead and get my page goal count done for the other books, maybe all or in part, and then I will just spend the rest of the day working on this. I do want to read a minimum of 50 pages a day, maybe even 70, and get it done within the next 4 days. So by the time you ever even see this video, hopefully I'll be done with it. I haven't gotten the okay yet to show the cover. This is an ARC copy of Jack Castle's latest book, which is Stranger Dream. I may have called it Stranger Desert last night. But anyway, this is the back of it. Stranger Dream is the last book in the Stranger World series, and I have already read the manuscript for the first book in the next series, the spin-off series, but I have not read this one yet. So I'm excited. I am about 75 pages in right now, and I haven't read any of it yet today, but it's Sunday afternoon. I have met my page goals in the other 3 books. Almost. I thought I had, but I realized I miscounted, so I'll tell you about my math error in a minute. So really, I could spend the rest of the day reading this. Now, I need to list some things on eBay and stuff like that, but I will probably just sit down and, read a chapter, do something else, sit down again, read another chapter, or even read 2 chapters per sitting, and then, take a break, get up, do something else, and try to get at least 50 pages read in this book today. So how I'm structuring my day, and if you're interested in how I do my morning reading routine, I actually did a video, it's been almost a year ago now, back at the end of, well, not the end, it was, at the end of the year in 2020, where I talked about how I structure my morning reading and my devotional time and what I do. So right now I decided to not start any other nonfiction books that I'm not already reading, at least for this week and maybe next week. And I decided not to start any other devotional books because I had finished what I was reading. So the only thing I'm reading in the morning for a devotional is a page out of a Journey magazine. And I've got a stack over here, just out of camera shot, but I used to have them up here. And I've moved them down to the shelf now. So I read a page out of that, which includes a scripture, a couple of scriptures usually, and a narrative that is just a little vignette that's inspirational. So I do that first, a little bit of prayer time, and then I would, at that point, normally read another devotional book. But instead of that, I am picking up the Mitford Bedside Companion by Jan Karen, and I am loving it so much. This is really the perfect thing to round out a devotional, inspirational time. It's just wonderful. So I need to read 17, really 18 to 19 pages per day to finish this by the end of the month. Today I read 17, but I came to a good stopping place, so I thought, okay, that's good for today, as long as I get in that range somewhere. And so this is going to be part of my devotion time, sort of, this month. It's not really, but yet it's inspirational enough to really just make me happy for the rest of the day. So it's thick. It's almost 500 pages, and it's delightful, though. It is just simply delightful. So I had read a little bit of it earlier in, like, during this past week. Not a lot. This morning when I picked it up, I was on page, let's see, 39, I believe. Yeah. And so now I am on page 56. So that is my goal for that. Then some days, if I don't have a lot of time and I'm alert and feel like I can really concentrate, I'll go ahead and read some in here, because I did that the other day. I just read a little bit of, maybe I didn't even read Mitford one day, and I just did my devotion, and I picked this up, and I just, whizzed through a couple of chapters before I had to get up and do something else. So since this is my highest priority, I'll just kind of gauge how I feel each morning as to whether I fit that in first thing or save it for a little later in the day. This morning, it was time change day, but I was still kind of groggy. I had a little more time, but I just didn't feel like I was in the right headspace to really focus on editing. I just wanted to read, so I didn't read that yet. So then I picked up On the Lamb by Tina Cashian. This is the Killing Time with Cozy's book series that we're reading right now, and the discussion for this is going to be on the 20th. If I read 2 chapters a day, which I have already read 2 chapters today, that only leaves me a couple of extra chapters to squeeze in somewhere, and I will have this done by the 20th. That is my goal. I want to have this one done in time to watch the live discussion, because I have had to miss it both times for the last 2 books, because I didn't have the book finished. I'm looking back to see how many chapters there are. I don't know if it's quite 30. There's 33 chapters. So like I said, I'll have a couple of extra chapters, maybe 4, but I'll fit those in somewhere. My minimum goal is to read 2 chapters per day of this book starting today, which I did, through the 20th. And so that's going well. Then for my library book club, we are meeting for this book, not Veterans Day because the library's closed. The next Thursday after that. I think it's is it the 16th, 17th, 18th? I don't know. It would be the 18th. Yeah. So I did the math wrong. I was thinking I had till the end of the month, and I'm thinking, oh, I just have to read like 12 pages a day. Well, that's wrong. It's 24 pages a day, because I just wasn't thinking straight. So I think I've read 11 pages. I came to a good stopping place, and I stopped there, and then I realized, oh, I need to read at least, 12 or 13 more pages. The next chapter, or the chapter I'm in, actually ends on page 26. So I am going to go ahead and read those few pages sometime today, and I'll get that done. And so that is my goal for that. So, yeah, I have plenty of other print books that I need to read this month, but I'm not going to try to bite off 8 books in one chew this time. I'm just going to go with these 4, and as soon as I finish Stranger Dream, then I will probably pick up something that I'm already in the middle of, like Pigtopia or something like that, and add that into the mix so that I keep at least 4 going all month. And then as soon as I finish this and we meet for book club, then I can pick up another one, maybe one of my Serious About Series books, because I've got 2 of those this month, and then the same for On the Lamb. Probably when I finish On the Lamb, I'll go ahead and pick up the Christmas book and not put it off until December starts. Although I need to buy it from eBay. I've bought all of these others. I have it on my watch list, a very, reasonably priced copy, and I need to go ahead and get it ordered pretty soon so that I have it whenever I'm ready to start it. And that way I can just read 1 chapter a day instead of having to read 2 chapters a day. So that is my plan, and I will let you know in my next clip how I do and how many pages that I end up reading of Stranger Dream today, and I'll check in with you tomorrow. Thanks for helping me stay accountable. If you like doing challenges like this, then let's chat about it in the comments. And, this is not going to be the most exciting video. I'll try to throw in some other things here and there. And I need to I've got some other vlog type videos to show you as well. I need to put out a new eBay video with some of the things that I've been doing there. And I've got a cookbook review coming up very soon as well, which actually I may already have it uploaded by the time you see this. So that is it for now. I need to go grocery shopping, and I will talk to you soon. Hello, it is a brisk Tuesday morning here in Central Florida, and Katie has talked me into coming outside to keep her company while she washes her car. And as you can see there, maybe you can see it there, Randy is building a shelf for the garage for eBay storage or whatever we need it for, so that's exciting. And I thought I would take this minute to show you my update of my reading goals. So in the first clip, I said that I was going to focus on 4 books that I'm reading in print, and I made this little chart, and I'm doing pretty good. On the first day, which was Sunday, I only read 12 pages in before and after, and then realized I needed to read 24 a day, so I made up for that on yesterday by reading 38. It could have been 36, but I was really close to the end of a section, so I just finished it. So yesterday, I read a total of 113 pages. Now, 13 of those were after midnight. That's why I've got 2 entries here, but I decided that if I read it before I go to bed, it still counts on the previous day. And on Sunday, I read 58 pages, so I have almost doubled my reading, and I got most of this read before 10:30 a.m. yesterday, so I'm excited about that. And then today, so far, after doing my devotional, I read 19 pages in the Mitford book, which is on the bottom of the stack, of course. No, not quite on the bottom. So this one right here, the Mitford Bedside Companion. It is so delightful. I am really, really enjoying it. And I'm really enjoying everything that I'm reading. I'm on track with On the Lamb to have this read by the time Killing Time with Cozies has their live discussion, which is not at the end of this week, but the end of next week. I think the 20th, 19th or 20th, whatever that Saturday is. So I read 2 chapters on Sunday, 2 chapters yesterday, and my plan is to go ahead and read 2 chapters every day until I finish Stranger Dream, which is my highest priority book. And once I finish this, I am copy editing it. Then I can spend a little more time on the other books. But in order to finish these other books by my target date, I have to just read a little bit of each one. So then the other book I'm reading is for book club, Before and After by Judy Christie and Lisa Wingate. These are the true stories. That's Katie, the hose, washing her car. These are true stories of people who were adopted out by Georgia Tann, or they were the parents whose children were stolen or taken by Georgia Tann to be adopted. So some of the stories are told by children and grandchildren of those people, and so far it's really interesting. So that's it for this update. I just wanted to let you know that I am on track. I've still got some more reading to do today, but Katie and I are going to do some house cleaning to get ready to decorate for Christmas, and we're just going to have a good day. So I'll talk to you soon. Hey there, it is Friday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, and I've missed a couple of days updating you, but so far my reading goals are going okay. Not the greatest, but, it's going okay. So I wanted to give you an update, and when I checked in last, it was Tuesday, and I had read my 19 pages allotted in the Mitford Bedside Companion. And then after that, I read 30 pages in Stranger Dream by Jack Castle. That's the book that I'm copy editing. Then, because Katie was home and we were doing a lot of cleaning, I didn't get any more read until late at night. I read my 2 chapters in On the Lamb by Tina Cashian. I didn't get anything read in Before and After on Tuesday. So on Wednesday then, I did go ahead and get 10 pages read, but that wasn't even a whole chapter. And I only got 13 pages read in Stranger Dream, and I did read 18 pages in the Meant for Bedside Companion because I've been trying to just do that right after my Bible reading. And then I didn't get anything read in On the Lamb. So, for those 2 days, I read 3 out of the 4 books. So then yesterday, it was Veterans Day. There was no, the library wasn't open, post office wasn't open. So I really didn't have anywhere I had to go. I had gotten my packaging done, all except for one order that was completed after the post office was closed. So I just put that one on hold till this morning. And Katie was home to help me, get Emily's breakfast and everything. So I skipped over Meant for Bedside Companion and went straight to, from my Bible reading, I went into Stranger Dream because I am doing this as a job and I needed to buckle down and get this done because the author is waiting on me to get it done and I agreed to do it. So, I had to just say, okay, this is going to be my job for the day. So I got 101 pages read. So yay. And when I went to bed, then I had only 100 pages left. So that was good. So it took me from about 8:30 in the morning until like 4. And I mean, I didn't read solid that whole time. I had to get up, various times for different reasons, but pretty much all day, this is what I read. And I'm still not sure if I can show you the cover yet. Maybe by the end of this video, he'll say it's okay. He's actually on a little trip right now, but by the time he gets back, I want to have this done. I did get 46 pages read this morning, so I've got 53 pages left to be exact. And I would love to get those done tonight, but I'm not going to be able to read them tonight, I don't think. But definitely by tomorrow night, I want to have it all read. And then I've got to spend another hour or two and go back through. And I've just been writing in the book, which is fine. But I've got to go back and make sure all my notes are legible and maybe add some sticky notes and things like that to make it just to make it more legible for him to read my notes. So I'm glad that I'm going to get that done this weekend, and then I will be able to go back and focus on finishing these other books by the next weekend. On the Lamb needs to be finished by the 20th, so I've still got plenty of time for that. And I've still, like last night, I did, someone's going by, so loud. After I had read 101 pages in Stranger Dream, I thought, okay, I'm good on that for the day. And then when I was getting ready to go to bed, I picked up On the Lamb and I started falling asleep immediately because I was just so sleepy. So I got up, took a shower, and then I did get my 2 chapters read. So that was a total of 18 pages. So for the day, I had 119 pages. The previous day, on Wednesday, because Katie and I were cleaning. She was home Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe. Actually, no, she was home Tuesday and she worked on Wednesday. But on Wednesday, I had a big eBay day. I had several orders to pack and ship and some things to list and stuff like that. And so I didn't get as much reading done. Even though I read from 3 out of the 4 books, it was only a total of 41 pages because I had to focus on getting my eBay packages out. So, anyway, now fast forward to today, and I read 46 pages in Stranger Dream, and now I've got to get out to the garage. We did have to make a trip to the post office and do a couple things. So now we're back home, Emily and I'm going to go out to the garage and pack up and sort out some stuff for a yard sale tomorrow at we own some property out in a subdivision in another county, and they're having a community sale tomorrow. Since I'm not going to have time to do a whole yard sale at our house this year, I decided I would go ahead and take some of my stuff that I'm not going to put on eBay that I still need to sell and get rid of, and go out there in the morning and try to sell some of that out there. So I've got to go and just sort it out. While I'm out there, I might take a little bit of footage of some of the stuff and the improvements that I've made out in the garage as far as eBay, and I'll add that to my next eBay video. But for now, that is my update on what I'm reading. Oh, so here's the 4 books that I'm reading in print, and I was going to show you what I've been reading on audio. I did finish Murder at an Irish Wedding by Carleen O'Connor. This is book 2 in the Irish Village series, or Cozy Mystery series. And then I have started Murder in an Irish Churchyard, and this is book 3. I've got a novella that comes after this, checked out on Hoopla as well. And then after that, I'll probably save the next 2 for December and on audio after I get done with this one and the novella. Then I've got some middle grade books from the Sunshine State list checked out on Overdrive. And then in my car, I'm listening to Brava Valentine by Adriana Trigiani. This is book 2 in the Valentine trilogy. And I'm just like on the first or second disc of that. So just barely started with that. So that's it for this update, and I will try to get in front of the camera before I put this all together. I'll probably wait, and when I finish Stranger Dream, then I will maybe close out this episode and then do a part 2 next week. I'll talk to you soon. Hello and good morning. It is bright and early on Saturday morning. It is about 7:40 a.m. and we are headed to a yard sale, not to shop, but to sell. I have got the car loaded down, packed with stuff. I spent most of yesterday evening up until about 10 p.m. just going through the stuff in the garage and sorting, packing, loading, anything that I wanted to sell that probably is not eBay worthy or enough to fool with. So we're headed out to a subdivision where we own some property. It's a property that Randy bought back in the 90s when we were dating, and it is a very old country estates subdivision. It's only 10 minutes from Disney, and they're having a community yard sale. So I'm just gonna park the car right at the gate of our property and see what I can sell. We have about 6-ish acres out there. It's zoned so that you can't have less than 5 acres. So I will try to take some footage while we're out there. And anyway, hopefully it will go well. You maybe want. Well, I had already started packing up. I've already taken down most of my tables, and I'm just getting ready to start loading the van when I realized I never shot any footage out here. So I just wanted to show you. I did have several tables out. I've got them all down but 2 now, and most everything is back in boxes. This is our property. It's in Osceola County, Florida. When Randy first bought this, we were not even engaged yet. We were dating, and there was not a house down there, and there was not a house there. It was like just totally country. The road was not paved. I mean, there was no cable out here or anything. So they have made a lot of improvements. We have done some improvements on the barn. It's kind of a horse barn, but we don't have horses. And we had thought about letting people lease the land for cattle, like, for a few. And I think we did have some on here when we first bought it, when Randy first bought it. But that's been so long ago now, I can't even remember. So anyway, it has been super slow. I don't even want to tell you how much money I made because it really wasn't even worth coming out here for that. But I did sort through all my stuff. I found a bunch of stuff that I looked up on eBay and priced to get ready to list, and put prices on everything else so that when I have a yard sale at my house next, I will be ready. And I'm going to go and put this stuff in the car, and it's only, I think, like 11:30. So if I can get this loaded up quick, there is another sale in another community. There's a car coming. Hang on. I was chatting with the people who were driving by. They stopped to find out what I was doing, and now I have no idea what I was saying before I paused it. But anyway, I think I know. There's another community closer to where we live that is having a community sale today. It's like a mobile home park. that has a lot of year-round people, and they have an annual sale, and I love to go to it. You can park at the clubhouse and just walk all around. So I might still, if we have time, it ends at 1, and if we can get there before it closes, then we will run in there and see if we can find some good stuff before we call it a day. Well, it's later than I thought. It is almost 1 o'clock right now. Wow, time was dragging in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it just started to fly. So I'm just going to load this stuff up, and we're going to probably stop somewhere and grab something cold to drink and maybe some lunch. Emily is already in the van. She was sitting outside when we had some shade, and she's ready to go. So I got to get this loaded up, and I'll talk to you soon. Yay, it is Monday afternoon, about 2 o'clock, and I am happy to report that I finished reading Stranger Dream last night. And then this morning I got up and I read my allotted pages in the Mitford Bedside Companion, and then I jumped right into A Stranger Dream. I was done reading, but what I did was I went back through and I made sure that all of my notes were readable and tabbed and all of that kind of stuff. And it took a few hours, but it is done. So I let the author know that I was done so that he can come and pick up the book. And now I can get back to reading On the Lam. I actually did read a chapter of this morning as well. I squeezed it in at some point in there. I've got to try to read at least 3 more chapters today and then read some of Before and After. But anyway, I'll probably go ahead and wrap up this vlog today, but I've got to pack and ship 4 eBay orders. So I'm going to do that now, and then I will wrap up this video. Okay, just to wrap up the vlog portion of this video, let me just tell you where I am right now with my 4 books. I already showed you that I was finished with Stranger Dream. In fact, I finished it up on Sunday, and then on Monday what I wrote here was recap, because I spent a few hours just going back through it, combing through my notes, making sure that they were legible, adding tabs and all of that. So before I did that, though, I did my devotional, and I did read 22 pages in the Mitford Bedside Companion. And then later I came back and I did read 16 pages, which was a chapter and a half of On the Lam. So I am behind now with that, because on Sunday I sort of did a reconfiguration and realized that in order to meet my goals, I would need to bump it up to 22 pages a day in the Mitford book, and I would need to read 4 chapters of On the Lam. So you can see on Sunday, well, you might not can see, it's pretty small, but I did read 3. So I thought, okay, I'm just 1 chapter behind. But then on Monday, I only read a chapter and a half. So last night, I finished that chapter and then read another chapter, and I thought, okay, I have got to make myself read a little bit more. And it wasn't that it was hard, it was just that I was sleepy. And I did end up getting 2.5 chapters finished yesterday, in addition to my allotment of Mitford pages. And as you can see, I am not doing well with Before and After. It's not that it's not interesting. It is. It's super interesting. It has just been the one that I have not been reading. It's this one right here, Before and After by Judy Christie and Lisa Wingate. And my book club meets tomorrow. So needless to say, I'm not going to finish it by book club time. I will finish it. But the reason I've been really more focusing on the Lam is because I've been behind with this ever since the first book. I mean, I listened to the first book on audio, so I was able to keep up with that. But for books 2 and 3, I was not able to watch the live stream because I wasn't done with the book. And I am determined to get done with the book in time for the live stream. I would love to even maybe be on the live stream so that I can sort of give a different view, because I think some of the girls that have been on the live stream haven't liked it, and I have. So it would be kind of fun, especially if I end up liking this one, to just give some different viewpoints about it. But anyway, we'll worry about that if I finish the book on time. So my page counts have gone down the last few days. I did do well on Sunday with 90 pages. That's when I finished Stranger World, but then I only had 38 on Monday, and 49 on Tuesday. And so far, only 9 today. I stayed up way too late and got up very early today. So I was, almost half done with what I needed to read in Mitford this morning. And I just started getting sleepy. So I just had to take a nap and then get up and do some other things. I've been working a little bit on eBay, and I've been working on getting this video ready for you. So I will get back to it. Especially I will get some more read of On the Lamb. Even if that's all I read in Mitford today, I'll catch back up because it is a delight to read. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let you know what all I have finished so far in the month of November. Okay, now I'm in my living room, and I have just pulled a rocker up to my bookshelves here so that I can sit and chat with you about the books that I finished so far in the first half of November. I think I'm going to like sitting and doing a video. I may have to do this more often. Normally, I just take all the books I want to talk about back into the office and talk there, but I could get used to this. Anyway, I have finished 7 books so far in the month of November, and one of them I don't have a physical copy of, and one of them I have a substitute for. So we'll go through these real quick and just give you an update on what I've been reading. So I finished The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. I had started this in October. I read or listened to probably 75% of it, maybe 80% in the month of October, and then finished it up. It was the first book that I finished in the first week of November. This was one of my BookTube spin books for round 3, and it was okay. I didn't enjoy it as much as The Forgotten Garden. I thought it kind of dragged a lot. It was just so long, and it seemed to take forever to get around to the the big twist. And the big twist really did redeem it to an extent, but the overall enjoyment of the first 80% of the book was not what I hoped it would be. So anyway, I'm glad that I read it, and I will still continue to read more Kate Morton books. I think that was my 3rd one. I have read The Forgotten Garden and The House at Riverton. So this Amelia Peabody book by Elizabeth Peters is book 14 in the series, The Golden One. I had to read this for book club, our mystery book club, which had to meet a week early because of Veterans Day. We normally meet the second Thursday of the month, and nobody got it finished. I only got half done, and I think I could have probably gotten it done if I hadn't been trying to read all of the earlier books in the series, but I'm still glad I did because I really enjoyed those earlier books, probably more than this one, because of their son Ramses. The dialogue between him and his parents when he is very young is hilarious. I really got a kick out of that. And in this book, now he is grown and married, so it doesn't have the same appeal. But still, I enjoy the banter between the main characters and the side characters. I read or listened to books 1 through 7 and then skipped over to this one so that I could listen to this for book club. I didn't get it done in time for book club, but I have finished it since then. And at some point, I'll probably go back and finish the ones that I skipped. It's a pretty big series, and I would like to think that I can, finish all of them, but I'm not going to try to speed read them. I mean, I'm not going to try to binge on those. I think those are better done 1 or 2 at a time. I am binging another series, though, also because of book club. This is a shorter series, The Irish Village Mysteries by Carleen O'Connor. I think it's book 5 or 6 that is a Christmas-themed book. I think it's 5. I don't know if there's another one after that or not. Anyway, this is books 2 and 3. And I did finish these already this month. Murder at an Irish Wedding is book 2. The first book I listened to on audio a couple months ago, and it was okay, but I enjoyed these more than the first one. I think it's maybe because I'm getting to know the characters more. I really like the main character, Siobhan. It's spelled Siobhan, but the narrator's saying Siobhan. I'm almost positive. I didn't know Irish lingo and dialect has that whole BV thing going like other languages, but it's really interesting how the narrator pronounces things. And so, anyway, I enjoyed these a lot. Murder in an Irish Churchyard is book 3, and I thought the mysteries were very good. I did not. Um, this one I didn't figure out at all. When we started getting a little closer, I think I started kind of figuring this out. But the author is really good at making all the suspects seem viable completely. So it's they're good. They're good mysteries. And then I went on and I listened to book 3.5 in that series, which is put these away. Something about a corpse. I'll show it to you. It is a bind up of 3 different cozy mystery novellas by 3 different authors, and so I just went ahead and listened to all of them. Christmas Cocoa Murder is the one by Carleen O'Connor, and that's what the whole bind up looks like. It also has book 7.5 in the Bookstore Cafe series by Alex Erickson. I've got a couple of those on my shelf, but I had not read any of them. That was called Death by Hot Chocolate. And then the one I like the least is book 6.5 in the Country Store Mystery Series by Maddie Day. That has kind of been on my radar. I don't own any of those. There was a little bit of cussing in that I just wasn't expecting. Death by Hot Cocoa. No, that's the Alex Erickson one. Christmas Cocoa and a Corpse by Maddie Day. It was okay. I mean, she made the victim very unlikable, so that, you didn't mind so much, I guess, them getting murdered. Not that anyone deserves to get murdered, at all. But, I find that that's a definite plot device a lot of times in cozy mysteries, is that they make the victim the most unlikable person so that you've got so many suspects, so many people that don't like them, that it's hard to nail down who the most viable suspect is. Okay, I have been listening to the Dead City Trilogy by James Ponte. This is a middle grade trilogy about a secret society of people called the Omegas who police and protect the undead, or zombies. Zombies are not down my street. I mean, it's not what I like to read, but I've read everything else by James Ponte and loved them. So I thought, why not just go ahead and read Dead City? So the first book, Dead City, was a Sunshine State book back when Katie was in the 6th grade, I think, which is the first year I really started learning about them. And I didn't read it then. So I read it last month for the Wonkathon. It was a book with a purple cover. And I saw that all 3 of them are on audio on Hoopla. So I listened to Blue Moon, which is book 2, and I finished it last night or night before. I can't even remember. Whenever it was, I finished it, and I still had some waking hours left, and I was doing some other things, and I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and start book 3. It must have been last night. Time flies. Anyway, book 3 is called Dark Days. Our library doesn't have a physical copy of it, but these are really good. James Ponte is a great middle grade writer. He does that whole secret society thing really well, and my favorite series by him is the Toast series. It starts with the book Framed and Trapped and Vanished, or maybe Vanished then Trapped. I don't know. It's about kids who are just really good at observing the little things and solving mysteries, kind of like Psych. But this group, the Omegas, are very strong, and our main character is a very strong and strong-willed female character, as well as her mother, and it's just a good combination of characters, and I really enjoyed them. I'm glad that I read them. It's, zombies is not something I would pick up, but you never know. And then this is Stranger World by Jack Castle. This is book 1 in the Stranger World series. I just finished reading the 6th and final book in that series, and I copy edited it. I have been doing that for Jack for a couple of other books now. This is my third book, and I've already read the first book in the spin-off series, which is a long time from being out, and I really really enjoyed that. So it's kind of weird to go back now and read the final book in the Stranger World series, but kind of cool at the same time. So anyway, I just finished it and very much enjoyed it. If you are interested at all in reading a book by Jack Castle, I would start with this one, Stranger World. It's kind of a theme park gone wrong, sort of a, I don't want to call it science fiction, more of a steampunk fantasy type of adventure. And really, though, if you don't want to start a whole series, then check out Europa Journal. It's on audio on Hoopla, and it is a science fiction time travel adventure that I thought was very good. So I would, recommend starting there. But anyway, I'm excited. I have already given him back the book with all of my notes and everything like that. So I just put this one here as a placeholder. And those are the 7 books that I have finished. So, okay, I'm back. Thanks for sticking with me or skipping over to this part or whatever. So I showed you, I think, 7 books that I had finished by the midpoint of the month. So now it is December the 3rd, and I want to share with you the rest of the books that I did read and finish in the month of November. I'll do my stats at the end, but I did want to show you a couple of things that I didn't have, well, at least one thing that I didn't have when I filmed the mid-month wrap-up. I mentioned a book of short stories. I listened to these individually on Hoopla, but I didn't have a physical copy to share with you. This is Christmas Cocoa Murder by Carleen O'Connor, Maddie Day, and Alex Erickson. It has 3 novellas from 3 different cozy mystery series. The series I'm currently reading right now is the one by Carleen O'Connor. It's the Irish Village Mysteries. And so I sort of accidentally, because it was all shown as being part of the same series on Hoopla, I had already, I had clicked on this one to borrow it, and then I clicked on the one by Alex Erickson before I realized that it actually was from a different series. And I have some of this series on my shelves, and I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and listen to them, listen to it. I didn't listen to the rest of the series yet. I don't even know if they're on Hoopla or not. But then I thought, well, I may as well go ahead and finish the 3rd one so that I can just say I finished this volume. And the one by Maddie Day was my least favorite of the 3, and I talked about that already in this video, so I don't need to go into details. I just wanted to show you the cover. It looks a lot like a Joanne Fluke cover, doesn't it? In fact, if I had just seen this in passing, I would have thought that's what it was, but it's not. Okay, I also had mentioned in the other video that I was reading, or had finished, the second Dead City book called Blue Moon, and it's already over here in another stack. This is the first book called Dead City. It's a trilogy. I don't have a physical copy of the 3rd book, but I did finish it. It's called Dark Days, and I wish now that I had counted this as one of my trilogies, one of the 12 trilogies that I wanted to finish, because I got this one done, and I didn't get 4 of the others done that I had set out to finish because I have to read those in print, but no matter. This was, considering this is about zombies, I enjoyed it. And I didn't even get to this first one until October. I listened to this for the Wonkathon for read a book that has a purple cover. And I enjoyed them. I've enjoyed everything that I've read by James Ponti. And I just wanted to share that with you. So I also finished actually 2 other series that are not on my SAS list. SAS is Serious About Series. That's a list of series that I've already started that I wanted to finish this year, and I'll tell you more about that at the end of the month, or you can check out my video. I'm sure everybody's watching this knows about Serious About Series, but if you don't, I did an announcement video already for the challenges for next year, and it's just basically a make your own challenge regarding series and helping ourselves to get motivated to work on series, make progress in series, and actually finish some series. So this is a series I started and have now finished all in this year. Thankfully, they're all on audio. This is by Davis Bunn, The Cottage on Lighthouse Lane. I actually enjoyed this one more than the entire rest of the series. This is book 5 in the Miramar Bay series. I went into this expecting them to be Christian books because when T. Davis Bunn, who is also Davis Bunn, wrote the Heirs of Acadia series with Jeanette Oak, those are Christian books. And he's written some other Christian books, and I just thought these were going to be Christian books. They're clean books, but they have a kind of a more of a unique supernatural element that I would not consider them evangelical Christian books. But they're clean, and they're very, very lightly faith-based. Not even enough to really call them Christian books. But no matter. They weren't bad. They just were lacking something that really made me get into them. I didn't hate them, but I didn't love them like I really wanted to. But this one I enjoyed a little bit more than the others. However, I was really getting into the storyline of the main male character, and then all of a sudden it kind of switched gears to the main female character, and it brought up stuff that I don't even remember being introduced in the beginning of the story, and it kind of went off in a different direction, and I was like, where did that come from? But, you know, it's okay. I still, I'm not sorry that I read it or listened to it, and, yeah, so it's good. I mean, not great, but good. Okay. The other series that I finished, no, I didn't. Actually, I just lied to you. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I will finish this. This is a trilogy, but this is book 2, and I am going to listen to the third one in December. The trilogy is the Valentine trilogy by Adriana Trigiani. This is book 2, Brava Valentine. This is kind of a family drama about shoemakers. It's about the family business and the family drama, and there's a little bit of romance sprinkled in. I wouldn't really consider them heavy on the romance at all. Not bad. I did enjoy this one. Maybe I might even go so far as to say I've enjoyed overall this trilogy a little better than the Big Stone Gap series, because the Big Stone Gap series is kind of up and down for me. Both series have some marital cheating elements woven into the story, which is real life. I think Adriana Trigiani does a great job of weaving in reality, but what she has done in both series is made her characters human and fallible and people who make mistakes, but yet the families are able to pull themselves together and stick with each other and just love each other despite their flaws. So I think that's good. I know that's good. Then let's see. I don't want to get into the middle. I did read several middle grade books, but let me talk about this BookTube Spin book for the last time. I don't want to ever look at this book again or show you this book again, because this was on my 20 by 20 challenge as a standalone I wanted to get read. So that means it was on that challenge for 3 years. I never got it read. I put it in my BookTube Spin list or stack for round 3, and it got picked. I still had a hard time getting to it. I had tried to read it back in probably 2020 and just had a hard time getting into it. I had a hard time understanding and reading the very unique dialect of the main character. And finally now I have read it and kind of wish I could unread it. Not that it's bad, but let me just tell you, it can be depressing. It's very dark. It's grisly. It's gruesome, and it's hard to stomach. So it's not a happy story at all. The main character of Jack Plum is very endearing, and he is the best character. He's a special needs man, probably in his 30s, who lives alone with his mother, who is very abusive. And he makes a friend of a neighbor, and the neighbor is nice when she's with Jack, But the rest of her interactions with other people, she's very rude and disrespectful to her mother and to her other so-called friends. And they're just as bad back to her. All the young people in the area, in the neighborhood, are just terrible. They're terrible to Jack. They're just not nice human beings. There was some foul language, but the part that was just hard was the very gory, grisly aspect of it. And I don't want to go into spoilers, just know that it's there. If you like that kind of stuff, you might enjoy this. It is a very unique book by all means, but not sweet and light and fun by any means. It does have to do with pigs. It has to do with a special needs man and friendships, and then a lot of other horrible stuff. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And also, Kevy from Say Kevy, every time I mention this book, you always say you're interested. If after I've said all that, if you're still interested and you want to read it, let me know. Email me, and I'll send it to you. I'll be happy to share it with you. I'd be interested to know your views on it as well, because you might not think that it's all that dark. Well, I mean, it definitely is dark. But, you know, some of you guys out there watching might enjoy that in your books. It was darker than my taste, for sure. Okay, let me go through the nonfiction and then the middle grade. I read Before and After by Judy Christie and Lisa Wingate. This was written after Before We Were Yours, which is a fictional account of children who were sometimes stolen, abducted, taken by Georgia Tann and the Tennessee Children's Home Society, who then adopted them out, sometimes for ridiculous amounts of money. She was basically a child trafficker, and that was a real person who really lived and really did that stuff. The book Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate is a fictionalized account of what did happen and what could have happened to a lot of those children. This is the real stories of people who lived that, or children of people who lived that. It's also a little bit about the parents and the situations of how they happened to either sign over their children or had their children stolen, or, you know, how they were basically swindled out of their children, that type of thing. It is very compelling, written very well, very easy to read. For a nonfiction book, it's very easy to read, but sad. Just sad that kind of thing really actually happened. So anyway, if you read Before We Were Yours, I think this is a must read. I know my sister said she wants to read it, but her library doesn't have it. So I'm trying to be on the lookout to get her a copy of that as well. But if you have a chance to read this and you enjoyed Before We Were Yours, then you should pick this up as well. And then I read finished two books that have been on my currently reading list since January. Yeah, January. I had intended to read this one all year long, but I read a few pages in January and maybe a page or two in February, and I had not picked it up since then to get any of it read. So I started it over. I read, I don't know, roughly 25 pages a day and got it done, and it was a delight. I loved it so much. This is The Mitford Bedside Companion by Jan Karen, edited by her sister Brenda Furman. It has excerpts from the first 9... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, the first 9 Mitford books, because originally this is all she was going to write. Then later she wrote the next 2 as Father Tim novels, but not in Mitford. So they were not originally part of the Mitford series. However, they really just should be read in order. The Father Tim novels should not be read before you know his history in Mitford. And then she came back to Mitford then and wrote 3 more books. So this completes the whole series. And then there are several companion books, and this is one of them. I had not ever read it before. I loved it. I thought it was just wonderful. And I really want to, within the next couple of years or so, reread the whole series. And this time in print, because I've only ever read the whole series on audio. But I read this in print. It was interesting to see just, it's a different experience to read things in print. And there were just things that that stood out to me in print that I hadn't really thought about just by listening on audio. So definitely the next time I read these, well, I shouldn't say that because they're really fun to just pop in and listen to. But at some point in my life, it's kind of a bucket list thing. I want to read these all in print. And then the other book I finished, I didn't finish working through it, but I did finish reading it. And I meant to leave a marker in here as to how far I got. This is a workbook for decluttering your home. I got to about here. Actually working through it and writing in it. It's a book you write in. Some people have a hard time with that, and I'm one of those people, but I did make myself write in it. And it's the Declutter Challenge by Cassandra Arson. On YouTube, she's the Clutterbug. I think she also has a show on HGTV, although I haven't watched TV really much to speak of since I've been on BookTube. But I did notice it on, like, in the doctor's office or the physical therapist's office when Emily was there, and I was like, oh, I know her. She's from YouTube. So anyway, this is not her first book, but she has at least 2 others, I think. But this is a workbook. I got it for Christmas last year, and I am going to continue to work through it and do the projects. I just wanted to go ahead and read it so that I would kind of know what's coming up and just get it off my currently reading list. And I am so excited because I finished the month with only 2 books left on my currently reading list, which is the smallest amount for this whole year that I have carried over from month to month. So I'm super excited about that. All right, so the rest of these are going to be middle grade, and then I'm going to come back and talk about my stats very briefly. Actually, 2 of them I would probably consider more YA. This one is the only series on my Serious About Series list that I finished in the month of November. This is The Shade of the Moon by Susan Beth Pfeffer. And this, I did finish it. This is not a bookmark. I think, this is a marker of where I started on the last day of the month. And I read over half of the book on the last day of November and really into the night on December 1st. But I'm still counting it. I sometimes say, if I have a bunch of books that I need to finish before the end of the month, if I can stay up past midnight, as long as I can stay up and I haven't gone to bed yet, I still count those on the previous day because that's just what I do. So it's all good. Yeah, so I'll have to, you won't believe how many pages I read the last day of the month. Well, it's really like a 24-hour. I kind of had my own 24-hour readathon. Anyway, let me go back to this book. This is the last book in the Last Survivor series. Susan Beth Pfeffer is the author. The premise is that the moon was hit by an asteroid and knocked out of its orbit. So now it's in a closer orbit to the Earth than it's supposed to. And that causes a lot of volcano eruptions and tidal waves and climate change and everything like that. I did not really love the whole series. It's pretty dark. I do love a good dystopian, but I think there was a little more swearing and dark stuff in this series than I prefer. My daughter has read it. She's read it 2 or 3 times, and she always said this last book wasn't worth reading. And I see what she was talking about because it is a little harder to swallow than the earlier books because you find out some things about the main characters, and just there's a lot of death. There's a lot of people being terrible to each other, that kind of thing. And I could see why she wouldn't like it because I didn't like it really either. But it's not a bad wrap up to the series. You kind of get to see what has happened with the main characters from the previous books. And then the main character of this book is John, who is the younger brother of the main character Miranda from the first book. So it's still about the same people, and they're just living in a different place, and the world has moved on a little bit from the initial shock of having the moon so close. This is maybe, I want to say 2 or 3 years or 4, no more than 4 years after that event occurred. Maybe 4. So anyway, you know, if you're interested in reading dystopians and that sounds good to you, I'm not going to tell you not to read it, but I didn't love it. There are definitely dystopian books that I've enjoyed more. But when I was telling my daughter that I read, you know, like over half the book, you know, and other books at the same time, you know, like on the last day of the month, she said, well, I feel like this is about the fastest book you could read ever, because it's written in a diary format, and it's really not a very large book, and it is a quick read, for sure. She could read a book like this in like an hour or two. It takes me a little longer. And then one of the other books I finished the last day of the month is book 2 of the graphic novel version or adaptation of The Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan. These are adapted by Orpheus Collar, and this really gave me a good visual of the Kane Chronicles book 2. The book 2 is called The Throne of Fire. I am having a hard time speaking today. I remember the first 2 books, I had to listen to them twice, and then still didn't really grasp exactly what was happening, the series of events. And it's because there's a lot of action. The characters move from place to place trying to complete this task or various tasks as part of a bigger, what's the word I'm thinking of? When you have a job to do and a quest. That's it, a quest. And this just really brought it to life much better. It gave me, for obvious reasons, because it's a graphic novel, it gave me a very good visual of what actually happened in the story. So this is one of the trilogies on my 12 trilogies I want to finish this year list. There's 4 trilogies I am not going to finish, but I am planning to read book 3. I've got it ordered at the library and hope to pick it up soon so that I can at least check this series off my list, and that'll be good. That'll be good. Okay, I've got 4 Sunshine State books that I listen to on Overdrive or Libby, and I'm excited that I got this many done. This is Becoming Muhammad Ali by James Patterson and Kwame Alexander. This was a really short one because it is written in verse. I thought it was very interesting. I couldn't quite tell. I feel like it's written from Kwame Alexander's perspective, and it's written like as if he knew Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay when they were younger, and that's a possibility. I don't know, but that's how it was written. So it was interesting. And then this one also very interesting, The Miscalculations of Lightning Girl by Stacey McAnulty. This is about a girl who was struck by lightning when she was young and became a mathematics savant. And it's her story of going to middle school for the first time. She's really accomplished everything through high school and is ready to go to college at like age 12 or 13. But her grandmother says that she's not socially ready, basically. She said, you're going to have to go 1 year to middle school, make 1 friend, and there was a couple of other things that she had to do. But anyway, it was a very good story. I enjoyed that a lot. And then Me and Banksy by Tanya Lloyd Kai. This was okay. I didn't love this one. It was about privacy and security cameras at their school and how their privacy was violated and things like that. So, sorry, my camera's jumping around. It was okay, but I didn't love it a lot. And this one I didn't really love either. This is Clean Getaway by Nick Stone. This was about a boy who's, he's from an interracial family. His grandmother is white, and his father is black. His father is the son of his grandmother, who is white. And his grandmother takes him one day and says, we're going on a trip. And they take off on a trip. And she's just acting strange and doing strange things. Meanwhile, the father doesn't really know where they've gone to. And he learns a lot about his grandmother and about his the history of her and her grandfather and what it was like for them as an interracial, his grandfather, what their life was like in whatever year it was as an interracial couple. And that part was very interesting. But the part that bothered me is I felt like a lot of the circumstances perpetuated racial stereotypes. And maybe she was trying to show history, but yet the present day stories also perpetuated racial stereotypes. And I don't know that that's healthy, but maybe it's realistic. I don't know. Something about it just didn't set right with me. And this is a Sunshine State book, so apparently the committee liked it well enough to put it on the list, but I just didn't, I didn't love it at all. And I don't want to go into spoilers if you want to read it for yourself and see what you think. And then we could have a discussion about why I thought what I thought about it. But anyway, I was a little disappointed in it. So that is everything. That's all the books that I finished. Now, some of these books are going to count towards the Fall Into Reading Challenge, and I'm going to do a separate video of that. And I have saved back from the library, which is why I have so many books overdue right now. Several books that from last month, and I want to show you in a separate video what books counted for each of the prompts in the Fall Into Reading Challenge. So that is coming probably tomorrow. But for November, I read a total of 23 books. There were 8 of them that I read in print. Now, some of those I had started in previous months, like the Decluttering Handbook and the Meant for Bedside Companion. Oh, well, actually, though, I started the Meant for Bedside Companion again, so I didn't really carry it over. But I did not restart Pigtopia. I didn't restart the Decluttering Challenge. So some of those were books that I had finished already. You know what? I have 2 other books that I have not talked about. One of these I read in print, and one I read or listened to on audio. These are both cozy mysteries. I read On the Lamb by Tina Cashian. This is book 4 in the Kebab Kitchen Mysteries. We have been reading this series as a group read on the Killing Time with Cozies book club, and I've already started book 5, which is the final one, and it's a Christmas themed book, so we're reading it for December. And I like this book. I enjoyed it. I have enjoyed the whole series somewhat. Books 2 and 3 were not as good as 4 and 1, but it all evens out, right? It all comes out in the wash, as they say. And then also for one of the challenges that they had in the on the Killing Time with Cozies Discord group, they have different challenges each month. And this month, for the Scavenger Hunt Challenge, you were supposed to read a book that had something to do with, I think, a craft or hobby. So I chose to continue with the Needlecraft Mysteries by Monica Ferris, and I listened to book 6, which is Hanging by a Thread. Actually, this had a Halloween type theme. It was set in Halloween and had a bit of a supernatural element, at least that was talked about. Whether that actually turned out to be the case, I can't even remember, but it was interesting. So I enjoyed it. I don't read really Halloween books that much, but it's part of the series, and it was fun. So now let me get back to my summary. Okay, so I read 8 books in print, or finished 8 books in print, and then listened to 15 audiobooks. So the genres break down 3 nonfiction, and I am counting. I have one more book. I keep looking over here in my pile and realizing that I forgot to show you. I read One Newbery Winner, Daniel Boone by James Doherty. I'm going to count this as my classic for the Fall Into Reading Challenge. I didn't love this. I think it would have a hard time getting published in today's world because it is also a little bit gruesome when it talks about the Indian Wars, things like that. And it looks like my video just went to a second video. I get so long-winded sometimes, and then at 26 minutes and a few seconds it keeps going. Thankfully it doesn't cut off, but it switches to another video, so if there was a glitch a couple seconds ago, that's fine. Anyway, this kind of read more like a textbook, but kind of a gruesome textbook. So the narrative was not as compelling as I would have liked for it to be, and so even though it's a short book, I had to read it like 6, 7, 8, 10 pages at a time. And that's really all I could make myself read in one sitting. I think the most I read in a day was maybe 12 pages. It had a lot of interesting artwork. And that was done by the author, James Doherty. But I didn't love the book. I haven't ever read anything by Daniel Boone. I remember when I was young, there was a Daniel Boone TV series, I think, that was put out by Disney, and I watched a little bit of that. But I didn't really know his history, and that was interesting. But the book was tough. It really was. But it's a Newbery winner from the 1940s, so I needed to read it. And so that being said, it would be a nonfiction book, but I only put that I read 3 nonfiction books. I actually read 4, but I counted this with middle grade. So, besides that, I'm counting this as nonfiction because even though there's fiction excerpts, there's essays throughout, and there's things written by the author where she does kind of commentary on the books and her experience of writing them and things like that. So overall, I'm counting this as a nonfiction book. The Declutter Challenge, and then Before and After. So really 4 nonfiction, but I put 3. 7 mysteries, 1 graphic novel, and then middle grade or YA, I read 8 books, and then 4 others I'm just going to count as general fiction. They had a little bit of romance in them, but general fiction. So that's how it all broke down for a total of 23 books. So that is it for this video. It's going to be a long video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you skipped around, thank you for just being here, for showing up and clicking on the video. I hope that you will leave me a comment in the description. Or no, don't leave it in the description. Because you couldn't. Leave it in the comments below. Let's chat about the books. If you've read any of these, or you want to read any of these, or anything like that, let's chat in the comments. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.